what's up everybody? The winter update is out right now in New World, and I've been doing a lot of outpost rush, mostly for gypsum, and I've been doing a lot of duels also. And from what I'm seeing, there's definitely a big meta change right now taking place in the game. Great Axe and Hammer isn't, exactly where it was, where it used to be, but it's still viable. So let me go over what I think is the weapon tier list right now, because I've played pretty much every single weapon, I've played against every weapon, and I'm seeing a lot of major changes here. So let's get straight into this. Alright, so the first one we have is sword. So I'll say sword and shield. Sword and shield in the update, the only thing that happened to them is actually got a debuff. They kind of reduced the time that you recover from their heavy attacks. So if anything, this weapon is even worse than it was. No one even uses sword and shield much unless you're a tank. So honestly, when it comes to sword and shield, for PvP wise. Alright, so the life staff here. The life staff got a slight debuff. The move beacon, it doesn't have effect anymore once you move outside of the range of the circle. So it's kind of like if someone pushes you and they're heavily on you, your healing's not going to be as great anymore, just because if you get out of that circle, your heals are gone. So honestly, that does have a big effect, but honestly, healers still play the same. There's not really too much of a debuff to them. I think healer is still viable, and PvP they're still tanky. They sit there, heal up the team. So it's like, we'll definitely put it still at a B. Definitely at a B. If you put it in combination with a Void Gauntlet, it's solid. So I'll definitely put it at a B too. Alright, next we have the musket. The musket did have a little fix, which allowed people to have like a faster rate of fire in the last update. They fixed that now. It's not an issue, but at the same time, the musket is still the musket. Musket is super solid in damage. Honestly, like if you have a musket, it's the only weapon you need. Like you don't even need a backup weapon, because the musket players just sit in the back and kill you before you even get to them. So it's like, musket is super solid. I would put it at an S. Like I want to hate on it and just give it an A, but musket in this update is still crazy. So I'm gonna have to put a musket at S tier. Alright, next we have here is the bow. So the bow did have a little fix. There used to be like no damage cap once you had like a debuff on an enemy. So like the damage after that would just be insane. So they kind of did fix that, but the bow is still crazy. It still does crazy damage regardless. That poison arrow or poison shot, whatever it is, still hits very hard. Really weakens them. Bow is for sure an A. You can definitely use it close range, medium range. It's really good for that. So bow is for sure staying at an A. Alright, spear. Spear right now, in my complete honest opinion, is one of the very best weapons for skill-based players in this game. Like if you're a player and you want to show that you actually have skill at PvP and you're good at what you're doing, like in playing, you use a spear, because the spear is just so nice. The combos you can pull off with it is insane. It's super versatile. They actually just updated the hitboxes in this update, and the skewer does 50% more range on it. So spear is crazy right now. Spear is 100% in S tier. Spear is insane as a secondary, as a primary. The damage you get off, the crits are crazy. Spear is, yeah, it's bad for you if you're playing against someone who has a spear. So spear is for sure S tier, 100%. Okay, fire staff, it didn't really get touched much. There's just a couple of fixes they did on it. But the fire staff isn't really in a bad position, but it's not really like in the best position. I think a lot of other weapons got updated and buffed up a little higher than the fire staff, so it kind of fell behind, but it's still not a bad weapon. You can definitely still pair it up with the ice gauntlet, even void gauntlet. I heard that's a good combination. But yeah, I'd put this at a B. I don't think it's crazy bad. I think you can still do good as long as it's paired up with a good weapon. It's not something that could be like standalone at all, but if paired up with a good weapon, it could for sure be good. Alright, the next weapon we have here is the rapier. Rapier is super good, also for those skilled players that like to really show what they're doing. The only thing they changed on it was reduce like the heavy attack recovery time, and it's not like Most people do heavy attack with the rapier, but it's not even like that viable to do that. So most people light attack anyways. So the rapier is still good. It's not like top tier, but it can be top tier if you're good with the weapon. Like if you really know how to get the riposte off and or reposit, whatever it is, get those off and just streak through them. So yeah, it's not a bad weapon. I definitely put it at an A tier. Definitely solid as a secondary to pair up with any other dexterity weapon. So definitely solid. All right, next here we have the Ice Gauntlet. Now the Ice Gauntlet is kind of annoying now. Ice Gauntlet is really good. In this update, the Ice Shower, that move will root you like crazy. The root on Ice Shower is so nice. Also, I believe the Ice Tomb or Entombed, that move also gives you 75% more health while you're in it. So basically, like, you know, you can tank more damage being hit by ice. And then it costs less to actually, you know, burst out of it also. So yeah, Ice Gauntlet is solid. It's actually better than the Fire Staff right now for sure. Ice Gauntlet is for sure gonna be an A tier. Wrong mouse. For sure an A tier. Ice Gauntlet right now is super solid. The CC, pair that up with the Void Gauntlet. Ice Gauntlet and Void Gauntlet right now is a crazy combination. 100%. Both of those weapons are insane. So definitely A tier. Okay, the Great Axe. Now the Great Axe did get nerfed a lot. They released the base crit damage. They released what? Reap damage. They released Bloodlust, the perk. So basically a lot of debuffs there. They also reduced like the range of like maybe the pool and the heavy attacks or something like that. And honestly, there's a big difference. Like you can definitely tell there's a difference. But the weapon is still solid. Like I don't think the Great Axe is bad, but you have to pair it up with the hammer. Like that's it. I don't think the Great Axe is like, you know, just trash now. But if you are using it, I think you have to pair it up with the hammer. I don't really see any other combinations that are gonna work with it right now besides the hammer. But it's not bad. I'm still gonna put it. I still want to put it A tier. I don't think it's bad. Like if you're a really good hammer axe user, I would say A tier. Honestly, same thing with the hammer. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the hammer here also, because these two weapons really only work well together right now, PvP wise. I haven't really seen too much. I know there's like, you know, Void Gauntlet and hammer, but it falls below all the other builds. Honestly, when it comes to these two weapons, I'm gonna put them here. Like I literally just think of them as a pair because like when it comes to these two weapons, it's the best way to use them. There's really nothing that works better with the axe or the hammer. So I'm gonna put them both at A tier. They're not bad. They're still good weapons. Alright, and then we have the hatchet here. So the hatchet, the hatchet is good. It does good damage, you know. That's, you know, everybody knows that hatchet does crazy damage. But the thing about the hatchet is that everybody knows what you're gonna do. You're gonna pop the buff, you're gonna go into the rage, whatever, and you're gonna run at them and just try to spam your auto attacks. Like that's all you can do. So with that being said, the hatchet really isn't the best like weapon to play to be smart. Like if you're using the hatchet, you know what you're gonna do. So they're just gonna run away until your little buff runs out, and then they're just gonna spear sweep you, and, you know. So hatchet, I put this at a D tier. It's sad that I have Sword and Shield all at the D, like not even a C tier. But hatchet, I put this at a B tier because hatchet is just too predictable, way too predictable. If you're playing someone against, like if you're playing against a hatchet, you know what to do. Like you just run away from them. Even if you're wearing heavy armor, like you're still not gonna really. You can counter it so easily. Like you just know what they're gonna do. All right, the very last one is the Void Gauntlet. Now the Void Gauntlet is still very good. They reduced the scaling on Screech, but that's about it. Or Petrifying Scream, but that's about it. Honestly, the weapon is still good. pairs up very well with other weapons like, you know, Ice Gauntlet. That's a really nice combo. Fire Staff. So right now, I'd put the Void Gauntlet at an A. I definitely put the Void Gauntlet at an A also, because the blade that the Void Gauntlet has still does crazy damage. You're doing all that debuffs with the Void Circle that it has. You know, you're reducing everybody else's damage, buffing your damage, and the Tether does the same thing. So, you know, it's very versatile with how you want to play it. You want to do like group play or like solo duels. So yeah, it's really, really good for those debuffs. So I definitely put it at an A. Void Gauntlet is good for, you know, a secondary or a primary. So definitely put that at an A. Obviously, the S tiers here are the weapons that could just be used by themselves and you'd be fine. Like Spear, you can just keep that out the whole time and you're good. Musket, just sit back, keep it out the whole time, you're good. It's like one-trick pony weapons. Those are definitely S tiers. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you do like this video, if you agree in any type of way, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the comment section, tell me what you think, what should be switched around, or what weapons you think are better, and then go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys later.
In the nighttime it get tricky, mess with me, we send that boy straight to whoop, straight to the backseat. Put him work up in the nighttime and it's getting tricky. I put my sweat and my tears in this bitch, so I swear to God it's getting busy.